So obviously it's Christmas time, and my landlord just gave me a very important notification. Maybe it's just a cultural blind spot I have, or maybe it's a result of my persisting caucasity, but I did not know that Mariah Carey has a second Christmas album. Now, everybody already knows, whether they know it or not, about her 1994 Christmas album entitled Merry Christmas, with the M and the C of Merry Christmas doing double duty for the M and the C of Mariah Carey. It's, clever. That album, of course, featuring the ubiquitous All I Want for Christmas Is You. However, just 10 years ago, she cut another Christmas album entitled Merry Christmas to You. Get it?
Get it?
And it is wonderful. It may very well be a perfect Christmas album. Let's break it down. So after a brief orchestral intro, we drop straight into Oh Santa, a high-energy cheerleader clap and shout infused Christmas song. Of course, couched in Carey's classic Christmas idiom of a Santa Claus as Cupid love song, which stylistically feels dated now, but it may have been even so in 2010 when it came out, as the closest stylistic comparison I can come to is Gwen Stefani's 2005 Holla Back Girl. Next, we have a more traditionally arranged medley of O Little Town of Bethlehem and Little Drummer Boy. Then we move into another original composition, a largely forgettable ballad entitled Christmas Time is in the Air Again. Then another church classic, billed as a medley, but in reality it's just an arrangement of The First Noel. Tacked onto the end of that is an R&B interlude, which is more of a meditation on some of the lyrics from that hymn, Born is the King, which certainly could be confusing if you have your 5 CD changer set to spiral mode while you're decorating cutout cookies. But if you're listening to the album correctly, sequentially, you're not about to hear Chip Davis's Deck the Halls with Ostinato. No, you're about to hear the crown jewel of this album. On the surface, it sounds like a sexy R&B slow jam, but it's actually not about romance at all. When Christmas Comes is a true bop and a supreme example of a well-structured Christmas song. It has everything. We got children playing, we got gift giving, snow falling, direct lyrical references to other Christmas songs, and Jesus is still in there too, but in his everlasting lordship version, not the 8-pound, 6-ounce infant newborn Jesus version, which honestly, underpinning this family gathering exaltation with a sovereign power of Emmanuel version of Jesus, no doubt served to thicken out the mix alongside a clean, high-pass filter. Then we get to track 7, or song number 6. It's a hip-hop, Here Comes Santa Claus house party. Once again, as with Oh Santa, it's an original composition and one of the more inventive arrangements on the album, but it seems clearly dated 10 years on, and no doubt was dated when it was originally released. It sounds like a pastiche of hip-hop if the pinnacle or your last memory of it was country grammar. In this context, it comes across a little more hokey and fun than cool, but maybe that was the intention. Now, even though at this point there are 5 tracks left to go on the album, I feel we need to pause for a second and clarify my thesis. Merry Christmas to You is not the perfect Christmas album, but it is a perfect Christmas album. See, regardless of whether you're a Grinch or a Scrooge, or if you're a Grinch or a Scrooge on the end of their redemptive character arc, it's still the same that all Christmas media is weaponized nostalgia. The contemporary American expression of the holiday is largely tradition for tradition's sake. So all of the media encompassing, whether it's music or movies or advertisements, etc., they're all serving to reinforce this narrative. The whole over-commercialization of Christmas versus the true meaning is a red herring. It's all one and the same. Have you ever wondered why most of the Christmas music canon, outside of traditional religious music, has been written in the first half of the 20th century? I have. I don't really have an answer to that question either. Now, the Folding Ideas channel has a really good exploration of this question, or at least this question adjacent in Dan's video about A Christmas Story. Now, fair warning, he doesn't like the movie, and he has a really strong critical analysis as to why it's not that good. I still like the movie, but if you like the movie and you don't want your childhood to be destroyed, maybe give it a skip, but it's good. Now, so much of the language of the holiday season is wrapped up in the experience of children, so much so that as an adult it's hard to have any sort of conversation about Christmas without talking about Christmases past. And that leads to a naturally regressive conversation. Not that it's a value judgment on that, but at least having that awareness gives us the opportunity to be a little more intentional with how we plan our celebrations. Maybe there's room for some constructive reflection in this season. But this video is supposed to be an exploration of Mariah Carey's second Christmas album, so let's get back to that. If I were doing a musical analysis of this album, I might be tempted to say that constant riffing is not a viable tool, or at least not often a viable tool for lyric storytelling. But this is a cultural analysis, not a musical one. And even so, most of these are culturally ubiquitous songs, so an overabundance of vocal runs isn't really going to detract from the meaning for the wider audience. So if you're mad about Mariah Carey showing off her vocal athleticism, then I don't know, maybe go work on yourself, stop being so jealous. One of my favorite Christmas albums is Hanson's Snowed In. It was a favorite as a child and continues to be a favorite as an adult. Now, the Hanson brothers were steeped in Motown tradition in their upbringing, and they reflect that in the choices they made and what songs to play for their album. When I was younger, I didn't recognize these as Motown Christmas songs. I recognized them as Hanson Christmas songs. So what they've done is they've taken a point of nostalgia for them and turned it into a primary cultural point of reference for me, which now in turn becomes a point of nostalgia. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know, but it seems to be part of what makes a Christmas album. The final bit of perfection in MC2U is the inclusion of All I Want for Christmas Is You. On the surface, it may look like a cash grab, a lazy padding for time on the album, let's lower the cost and increase the perceived value by just pushing in an old song. However, imagine this. An aunt or uncle has been given a portion of their niece or nephew's Christmas list to shop for, and they're wandering through Target looking for Mariah Carey's Christmas album. They don't know. They're just an aunt or an uncle. They don't know. Fortunately, the only reason a child would ask for Mariah Carey's Christmas album is because they want to listen to All I Want for Christmas Is You on repeat. And it's 2010 and they either don't have an iPod or smartphone, or their parents just don't trust them to make online purchases in the iTunes store. In either case, even if you've bought the wrong Mariah Carey Christmas album, you've still bought the right Mariah Carey Christmas album. Crisis averted. In conclusion, if you're going to add some songs to your Christmas playlist this year, add When Christmas Comes by Mariah Carey, What Christmas Means to Me by Hanson, and Christmas Through Your Eyes by Gloria Estefan. And never, ever, under any circumstance, listen to any version of Do They Even Know It's Christmas from Band Aid. Thanks. Merry Christmas.